Welcome to another Fountain Pen Day review. Today we're going to have a second review, or this week we're going to have a second review, simply because I got this in the mail today. This is the Stipula Passaporto, or Stipula Passport we call it here, for short. Very nice pen, very small pen if you haven't noticed. It's made in Tuscany, Italy. It comes in a nice box, magnetic closure. This one, the back, I was just holding it, but you can see the glue came undone. It's of no consequence whatsoever. But before I get to the pen, what you get is, you notice first, which is an eyedropper, because you can use this as an eyedropper filler. It will take the small carts, and they do provide you with one. And the booklet that gives you history on the pen company and how to fill them and the materials they're made out of. And this pen, I'm actually not sure if it's just plastic or if it's a resin or not. But, and I did look, but I didn't see anybody else listed. I can tell you that besides being small, there are several versions of this pen. You know what? I don't need to set this high. If the pen is small, we can be down and close. It's a nice pen. It's a very neat design. There are a lot of versions of this pen. There is custom versions I saw for like the DC Super Show. They had a special version for the show in Florida. Miami Pen Show, they had a special version, and there are differences in them. This one, for instance, there's no threading on the back, so it is actually just a pressure fit, and it will come loose fairly easily. Now, I haven't written with this. I wanted to do a true unboxing with this pen and show you everything about it and how it would write when you order it. I got this pen out of the blue. No pun intended, because it is blue. Because on Fountain Pen Network, Speerbob, who's a well-known seller, very good seller, great guy. Let me just lock this in. This pen shipped to me was $45. Is it super cheap? No, $45 for any pen is a lot. But in perspective, it was a really, really good deal. He does still have some left. And I've always wanted this pen. You know, it's really a neat design, and it's very, very compact. The nib, it's a smaller nib. Okay, let me just refocus here as I drop it. It is a smaller nib. It is a stub nib. And it's an eyedropper filler, which is something I haven't had before. As far as design changes with this eyedropper filler, here, I'll get close. This is in Italian, which I don't know what it says, but I'm pretty sure it says made in Tuscany, Italy. And here it says Stipula, made in Italy. This little recess here is for where the cap sits. Again, there being different versions. There are versions where this is threaded, and the cap would actually thread on there and give it a nice solid feel to it where it wouldn't come loose. Now, did they stop that because it cracked or they had issues? I really don't know, and I don't want to speculate and say something that's not true. But this one does not have those threads. As well, when you take it apart, there is, you can feel, it almost feels like rubber on rubber when you undo it. It's not. These threads inside are metal, but there's and it goes on these threading, on the plastic threads here, but this collar inside, right here, is actually meeting up with, stay with me, it's going inside and meeting up with this seal right here. There's a rubber gasket inside, which I can see now, because I wondered if it's a piston, not a piston filler, I'm sorry. Because it's an eyedropper filler, you know, usually when we talk about that, It's always plastic on plastic because you don't want the ink to corrode any of the metal or have there be any leakage or anything like that, because the ink will seep around the metal fairly easy, but more so it would corrode it. So again, this inner collar, when you screw it in, is meeting up with, and you can see it here, with that gasket, so that you can feel it cinching down right here, and it just locks in right with it, so that it gives it a nice good seal and the ink isn't getting into this metal threading. Alright, also, get a nice shot of the nib. Don't mind the fingernails, a hard day at work today, I'm sorry guys, and girls. Like I said, it's a stub, but the feed I can't get out. And I did read on Fountain Pen Network with their limited edition, which is the same as this one. Not the same, but the same materials, the same inner gasket, but it did have the threading on the back. The nib comes out fairly easily, sliding off, almost like the Kaweikos do. And once it's off, getting this feed out, I couldn't get it out. But supposedly it screws out of here. But I wasn't going to force anything. Again, I just got it, so I'm not going to go that far with it. But you can see that if you did have other nibs, it is easy. Sorry, I'm so close I can't see what I'm doing while I'm keeping it on camera. There's only one way that it goes in, and it does push down. Push by the collars. Don't do it by the tip like I just did. I'm sorry. Again, it's just hard for me to see because I'm so close. But it fits down. It sits where it's supposed to. Has a nice positive stop to it. The cap does have the Stipula logo on it, which is nice. And you can see here, right here, there's another gasket. There's another another seal, another rubber O-ring. Sorry, inside. And I'm assuming once you do that, it's just to help keep everything airtight. You know, and keep the nib from drying out. It's on. You can see it comes down right about where the nib seats, where the end of the section sits, so that it's keeping it nice and wet in there, and it doesn't allow it to dry out. But again, my only thing so far is that you've really got to push this down to get it to stay. Okay. So anyways, alright, that's enough. I'm going to come right back. We'll weigh this quickly, ink it up. I'll give you some size comparison to other pens that are out there. I have big hands, so you can't really judge too much by it sitting in my hand because it looks ridiculous. So, okay, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. First and foremost, I'll give it a quick weighing. Again, there's no ink in it. This is in grams. Balancing it, 14 grams. You're not going to write it, I guess, without the cap. I can't imagine, but it's 6.7 for the cap, and the pen itself is about 7.2, 7.3, somewhere in there. For size comparison, well, actually, I brought this here. It measures at just about 3 3/4, uncapped. It's almost the same. 3 1/2. I mean, it's very close. Actually, you know what? I'll leave it closed. Sorry. All right. Here's a Kaweiko Sport, and you can see the size difference there. A TWSBI Mini. And then to give you some real perspective, here's a TWSBI 580, and the difference is obviously huge. But again, when it's capped, I'll take the TWSBI. We'll go with the Mini. Like when that's capped, it's pretty close. And the Kaweiko Sport, put that on the other side. It is shorter, but is it a lot shorter? Not really. It's not really, I mean, when it comes to the Coleco Sport, which I use at work all the time, it's maybe a half an inch shorter at best. It's not even that. So, okay. To ink this, again, you can use the converter on it if you want. I mean, the cartridge if you want, or you can do what we're going to do, which is fill it. And we're going to see how much ink it will hold. What else do you put in a blue pen? But how about some Dimitris Pine Green? Nice green ink. It's a sample that I got, but my point is that I'm going to fill it with a syringe so I can actually measure how much ink it's going to hold in there. I'm going to draw some of it back out when I do this, because I'm not going to do it when it's completely jammed filled, because it's the first time I've ever used it. But I'll be able to tell exactly how much ink this pen will hold. And we've got just about 5 mils in this. So, before I do that, you know what? I'm going to take some of the ever popular Goulet Clear Silicone. I'm just going to put a little silicone on here. I just out of sheer paranoia. Plenty. Remember, anytime you use silicone, try not to get it on your fingers and then touch the nib or the feed or you know, anything like that. This is the part you want to put the silicone on. Sorry, it was pretty dumb. Because the silicone can actually clog the feed. So just give it one turn, just to get so that it's on the inside as well. Alright, how much ink will this hold? 1 second. Before we do that, I just thought I did this before when I was looking at it, and I actually lit the inside of this up so you could see inside of it better. There we go. And you can see the transparency in these. Same thing with the cap. This is how I really was able to see that inner seal, you know, that inner O-ring a lot easier. But it's nice. It is very clean, transparent blue, and it's not, which is what made this pen really nice, is that it's not just cheap plastic. I mean, it's really nice, and it's very well finished on the inside. I'm going to fill it up to the O-ring right here, which is really your fill line, I would say, just to see how much ink this will hold. And again, I've got 5 mils. Keep my hand out of there in the syringe, so. That's a full fill, and there's about 3, a little less than 3 mils left. So that held a lot of ink. That's got it. That's well over 2 mils. Again, I'm going to take a little bit out. Okay, and put this back together. And again, it'll take a moment for the first time for the feed to saturate and get going, I'm sure. So let's leave that off to the side at a little bit of an angle. I'll bring it down and we'll get writing with this. Move this out of the way. Okay. Life Notebook. Vermilion. Just going to get you in focus. And with this, I've just pushed it down a little harder than I would want to, but I don't want it wiggling off. Again, I wish this actually had the threading, but it doesn't, and We'll see how it does. Starting up. It's starting up rather quickly. Alright. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm in focus. And I'm going to write a little bit larger. And remember, I just inked this up, so it's going to take, it may take a moment for that feed to saturate. But yeah. See, the cap came loose. The nib is smooth, I must say. And being a stub, it definitely has some nice line variation. And it's fairly wet. So I'm trying to keep you guys in the line of sight. But you can see the natural line variation. Really not, I'm not pushing at all. Very nice. I can see the ink's gotten a little bit darker, so I think it's gotten saturated. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, I can push this a little bit more now. Oh, very nice. Get a fresh page. And there is some flex to it. You know, your side lines, downstroke, but railroad. Well, like I said, it may need to be. You know, I didn't clean the nib and feed at all, so it may need a little cleaning if there's anything in it. But it starts right up again. So, in any case, I really wanted to just give you guys a review of this pen, and so you could see what it was all about and how you get it. It's certainly pocket size. I mean, you can't say that that's not pocket size, so. Tiny pen. And that's kind of weird to see all that ink just sloshing around in there. So, on that note, I want to remind everyone that Fountain Pen Day is November 1st this year. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And I hope you found the review useful. And the cap is falling off. And at this size, you can see it's really difficult to use. But it is a great pocket pen. Like I said, other than the threading, I really like the pen. I like the nib. You know, it's certainly wet, and right out of the box, I really don't have many complaints. So, thanks again, and have a great Fountain Pen Day.